Superman and Lois, Season 4, Episode 3. We're back at it. The final season of Superman and Lois is here, and if this episode is any indication, we are in for a real treat. This was one of the better episodes they've had in a while. I've liked every one. I like when a comic book project feels like a comic book thing and is really convoluted and silly, because sometimes we're afraid to do that. There is another show by DC currently on television called The Penguin, and that's afraid to lean into the comic book stuff. We'll call a character Magpie, but that's as far as we'll go. But this show is like, well, we have less money, we have less episodes, let's throw it all against the wall and see what sticks. And a couple things did stick. They have a couple cool ideas. We have a couple few sets we're using. This episode, I think more than like the previous two, you could really feel the limited like exterior sets we had. We go outside the DOA 3 times. We use that set like 3 separate times with 3 separate incidences. And you just really feel like, oh, we're not leaving this location. We use Sam's office like 3 separate times as well. It's kind of fascinating. We do go to the barn, though, like the barn from like the first episode. I don't know if that's shot on location or not. Very interesting, though. Like, this one really felt like we're gearing up towards the end, you know? The beginning of this episode just goes, well, John has powers now. He gets really mad at Jordan because Jordan, like, unintentionally killed the thing that would have saved their dad. So they get into, like, a fight and a scuff. John yells at him. And then he, like, goes full Kryptonian and gets his powers unlocked. And he's flying around, he's zip-zapping all over the place, and he's doing great. And Jordan's like, well, suddenly the cool kid gets to have all the powers. That sucks. That's stupid. It's not fair. John's already better than me. Just playing into Jordan's insecurity, which you like to see. So that's currently happening. That's one of the things going on. But this episode is primarily focused on Sam Lane. I said last week I didn't think we would see him return. I thought we wrapped up the storyline. He's in the hospital. He's okay. We don't have to worry about him anymore. Well, worry a little bit. Because when an episode gives you a lot of flashback to a character, that's when you know something is up. The first flashback we get is the moment Clark and Lois decide to reveal to Sam that he is Superman. And it rocks. That moment is so freaking cool because it is just so corny and silly. He literally just takes off the glasses, stands taller, and it's a different guy. And he's like, oh shit, that is Superman. Which is, it's portrayed so perfectly because it's convincing. The facade drops the moment the glasses come off. It is so well done. I really like it. Tyler Hoechlin once again proving he's a fantastic Superman. I loved what he did here. The second flashback we get is when Clark wants to talk to Sam about proposing to Lois, and Sam freaks out. He's like, no, you are not marrying my daughter, okay? Like, your world is too dangerous for her to be a part of it. I already screwed her up. Me and her mom ruined her life already. You don't have to be a part of that. But Clark says, like, I'm not asking for your permission. I just want you to be a part of our family. We then cut to the wedding, and we see Martha is alive and well. That's right. We have Martha Kent back in an episode. Another sign you can tell it's the finale. We're getting close to just showing you new characters that you've seen before returning and stuff. So she's talking to Clark, like, it's okay. Sam will come around, and if not, that's his problem. And then the final flashback we get is when Sam confronts Lois at the wedding, and just says, I think you are making a mistake, but I love you and I want you to be safe, and I will try my best to be brave. I will always be brave for you. Which is the emotional gut punch of this show. Like, I say it every week. I will continue to say it. This show has done so many different things for the character of Lois, and I think what it does really well compared to other interpretations is the vulnerability. A lot of the other interpretations want Lois to be strong, confident, not like, you know, no guff from anybody. But what this show does is show you she can do that over here. When she's in Metropolis, she will take down the toughest businessmen. But around her family, she will show her vulnerability. And when her dad finally, like, accepts that he wants to be a part of her family, that she's starting with Clark, she gets really emotional. and it shows you like the genuine love from a guy who's very hard at like communicating his emotion. And it really spoke to me. I really liked how they handled that. Probably some of the best acting from Dylan Walsh this entire show, because it's ultimately gonna end for him. And maybe that's for the best. Like, I don't know how much more we're gonna get for 7 episodes of the Sam character, but I like how they handled it here. He's also really willing to have John step up as Superman over Jordan, which is a really interesting thing. I think part of that is just like the confidence. It's not like he loves one of his grandsons more. He just knows like he's a kid who wants to help, and he knows how to maintain calm. And that happens. It's an okay thing to see. I really dig that too. The Jordan plotline kind of wraps up pretty quickly. Like, an inciting incident for him this episode is he's in the barn, and then suddenly Lex Luthor shows up to the barn, and he's like, hey, the other day I made your mom like answer a phone call. She had to pick between which kids she wanted to survive if something were to happen to them. Press 1 for Jordan, press 2 for John. She chose John. And he's like, that cannot be true. And we don't know if it's true or not. But Lois kind of confirms it later when Jordan confronts her. And like that is a no-win situation. But if you had to make that call, I suppose you would choose the son who does not have powers, because Jordan is at least strong enough to get out of that situation, which is her defense. But Jordan argues, I was the one in actual peril, and you have to choose John over that, which makes him mad and storms off to like, oh, he's going to be angry at them for a bit, like go against the family, maybe become like an eradicator or something, because clearly we're doing Reign of the Superman a little bit here. We got the other, look, John has powers now, okay? We got John, we got Jordan, and we got John Henry, and we got Natalie. Steel and Starlight, that's what they are called. They're going to work for the DOA. They're actually going to, like, I guess appear in this episode and maybe another one. I don't know what's going to happen. This is the first one they're in the season. They think they're going to have, like, a normal life, but Sam's like, come here, work for me. It's going to be fun. They decide to do that because what else are you going to do with them? We don't have the budget or time to do Steelworks properly, so just have them over here doing this thing, and it'll be okay. I like what they do. I think for the most part, you can see the suits still look reasonable. You know, they're not bad or groggy. There's a couple moments where, like, the Doomsday creature looks a little bad this episode, but it's not egregiously annoying, which I guess is the other thing we should talk about. The big inciting thing about this episode that kind of makes it a little more special. You're like, oh, this is so comic booky. So many comic booky things happen here where I'm like, this is so stupid and over the top. I can't believe a main character died this way, and how his death is going to lead to this thing happening. So Sam Lane dies this episode. Spoiler alert, this is the end of Sam, which makes sense. Again, there's not much more leverage yet for that character. He's one of like the main characters from the last season that would make sense to kill off. Kyle would be the obvious one, but I don't know if he's going to appear in this show. That they make reference that like him and Chrissy bought like a minivan because they're like going to have kids, or she had a kid or something. Who knows if we'll see that? I don't think we will. But somebody working at the DOA is blackmailed by Luthor, holding a gun at Sam, saying, tell me where my daughter is or this man is going to shoot you. Sam says, I'd rather die than tell you. He gets shot with a bullet, and that's how you're like, oh, he's going to die, like taking, what is it, Alexandra? Is that her name? Oh, Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth Luthor. He's going to take Elizabeth Luthor's secret of where she is to the grave. You think that's how he's going to die. But he actually injects himself with like the Bizarro serum that they made from Superman's blood. So you're like, oh, is he going to... My first reaction was, oh, is he going to do like a President Ross that we're going to see in Brave New World next year, where he's going to like become a monster to fight the monster? No, that's going to be something else that happens. The Doomsday creature is going to come for Sam. Steel and Starlight intervene to fight it. Doesn't do good. The fight looks pretty good. I gotta say, it looks pretty nice. The creature comes to our outside location of the DOA, just stands there, and it just... There you go. There it is. We're all outside. The soldiers are just background characters that aren't going to do anything. Lois is there with John, and Sam comes out because he is going to stop this thing from happening. The creature is here for Sam, so he's going to step up in the place of that. And he says to Lois, like, don't worry, you have to be brave because I've always been brave for you. Very freaking powerful stuff. And the creature picks him up. Now, remember, Sam has already been shot with a bullet. The creature picks him up and snaps his neck or something and kills him. Sam Lane is killed by Doomsday. He is dropped to the ground. The Doomsday creature leaves, and then Steel is like, Sam came to us earlier. I have to do something with his body. Natalie will explain everything. So then John Henry takes Sam's body, flies it to the fortress, and that's where he meets like Clark's Kryptonian healing coma body, and he is like to his, is it Lara? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's Lara. He's like to Lara, okay, here's what we're going to do. Sam injected himself with Superman's blood, and we're going to take Sam's heart, and we're going to put that heart into Superman. And that, because it's flowing with Kryptonian blood already, will be enough to save him. In fucking sanity. Are you kidding me? That is so specific and dumb, but I love every second of that. The fact that it shows, like, we're going to have Sam get killed by a CGI monster, his body's going to fall, and we're going to take him to another CGI location and take his heart out and put it inside his, like, son-in-law. That's awesome. That's awesome. That is such a cool thing to see. But this is amplified with just Bitsy giving a fantastic performance. She just lost her husband. She just had a huge argument with her son about saying she loves John more, and now her father just died in front of her. Lois is going through so much shit this season. It is insane. And that is what you do with this character. This is Lex Luthor trying to break Lois. That is what this show is about. And he's succeeding at that. It's so freaking sweet. It is so good. And they go home, and Jordan's there, and he's not mad anymore because his grandpa died. And that's when Natalie reveals all that. And John returns, and he, like, gives Lois, like, so your dad did, like, a Tony Stark in Endgame. Here's, like, a hologram of him to tell you what's going on. And he's like, I love you 3000 or something. It's not like that. It's honestly better because it's not cheesy and stupid. It's just kind of like, well, this is kind of like a rush job, but you made me a better man. I am so happy that I got to be your father and see the family that you made and see my grandkids become these amazing people, including Natalie in that conversation. It's so good. It is so good. And it's 4 seasons of development for Sam that have been built up to this moment. And he's just like, I will always be brave for you. Oh, it's so good. And like, that's his final message to his daughter. It is so beautiful. So interesting. I really do love it. I really love it. Oh yeah, and then Superman wakes up. We'll see where that goes. That's like the stinger at the end of the episode, but is he just gonna like fall back into the coma or whatever? I don't know. We haven't like really teased him waking up, but we'll see what happens. It's pretty cool, I gotta say. Like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. We're beating around the bush on some budget stuff, just like cutting from a scene where we could have had like stuff happening in between that. And we have like one sequence with John Henry and Nat where they're clearly on like a CG, like green screen background. It looks bad, but the rest of it, the emotional weight of it, it really helps amplify this show. Even if it looked worse, and I think it looks good, the emotional weight that these actors give to this sequence and this entire episode, they make it worthwhile. Like, it's incredible how well this was handled, considering how touchy the subject matter could be. Genuinely like it. Genuinely love it. This was the best episode of the season so far. I know it's only the 3rd one, but if we keep up this trajectory, we're going to get some good stuff. So I'm very curious to see where we're going to go from here. And then I will see you all next week for the next episode. So thank you for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.